Hey there, it's Kat. I am so excited. I've got another really great book for you in today's video. It's called Beneath Your Beautiful by Emery Rose. There's 2 books in the series and this is the first book. Right now it's available on Amazon as I'm filming this video for $3.99. It's about 350 pages or so. A really great read. Emery Rose is a new author to me. I hadn't read anything else of hers, so I was excited to dive into it. The main characters are Eden and Killian. I loved Eden's name. I thought it was really pretty. I've never read a book with Eden as the female character, so that was kind of cool. Eden is in her younger to mid-20s. She's originally from Pennsylvania, but has relocated to Brooklyn, New York. She's an artist. She comes from a family of 3 siblings, 2 older brothers, and her parents. Her mom has passed away from cancer when the book takes place, but she has a very close relationship with her brothers and her dad. Killian is around 30. He has a younger brother, Connor, who's several years younger, about 5 years younger from him or so. Their dad, Seamus, is a terrible person. They have a horrendous upbringing. Their mom just kind of left the family, kind of never looked back. And what you realize is that Killian's dad, who's a police officer, kind of leads a double life. He's this upstanding, really great police officer who everybody, puts kind of on a pedestal, and yet he comes home and he's a drunk and he abuses his sons. So it's really sad. Killian is the protector type. He figures out pretty early on what's going on with his dad, and he always steps in to try to take the abuse so that Connor doesn't have to. I thought it was interesting that both Eden and Killian's dads were cops because they couldn't be more different. Some of the other characters in this book that are very important parts are Ava, who is Connor's friend, childhood friend, and Killian's, obviously. Ava works at the bar for Killian, and I realized she was going to be an important part to the story when at one point they're talking about Connor, Killian's brother, and you realize that there's much more to Connor and Ava that meets the eye. The author kind of put a little tidbit in there that made you kind of go, okay. You realize that something else is going to happen with them. Something I really liked about the book is that each chapter is told by Killian or Eden. They get their own chapter as their relationship and the story progresses, and I like being able to see both sides of the story like that. So let me tell you a little bit about Eden. The book starts with Eden showing up at her boyfriend Luke's house, who is her longtime boyfriend in high school and now in college. They're in their senior year of college, and lo and behold, she catches him in bed with her best friend. So right off the bat, I was a little weary because cheating is a trigger for me. I don't like it at all. So I was a little worried, but it was just that one chapter, and it kind of cements Eden feeling like obviously this is not the guy for her. He's always tried to change her, hasn't really accepted her for who she is, and she wants something bigger than what she has in Pennsylvania. So she decides to move to Brooklyn. She is an artist. She wants to give that a try, but she realizes obviously she has to pay the bills, so she goes looking for a job. She heads over to the bar and is going to apply for the job, and she's standing across the street. She sees Killian. She doesn't know it's him, but she sees him, and she's kind of taken aback by him. He's very handsome. He's a very big guy. He is striking, and she notices him, and then she literally falls at his feet. She trips in the street and falls down, which is kind of funny. And he sees her and he rushes to her, and then you know right away that he's a nurturer and he's a protector. He picks her up right away and he tends to her immediately, and I really like that about him. He then later realizes that she's going to be walking home. He's not having it. He calls her a cab so she can get home safely. He pays for the cab. He takes care of her. That's him. He takes care of things. Killian is a retired MMA fighter. He had an absolute tragic last fight in his career and decided that was it, and he was not going to fight again. he has tremendous guilt over that situation. During the book, there's a lot of times where the way the author, Emery Rose, describes things, I really liked. So this is when they first meet, when Eden and Killian first meet, she describes his eyes like being underwater and looking up into the sun. And everyone knows exactly what that's like. So I knew exactly the color of his eyes. And I really liked that about Emery Rose's writing. The story progresses and they build a good foundation of friendship. They definitely like each other very much. Killian is totally closed off. He has tremendous guilt about what happened in his last fight, his last MMA fight. He has tremendous guilt over the way his brother Connor is. He has not an understanding at all and is deeply affected by the fact that his mom just picked up and left without turning back. But then as an adult, I think kind of, in my opinion, understands because of the way his dad is that something more was going on. But as a child, he didn't understand it at all. So he carries all these really heavy emotions around with him all the time. And that's why he's completely shut down and isn't able to be open to having anything with Eden. He likes her immediately. He's drawn to her immediately, but he just can't go there. One of those times where I really liked the way Emery Rose described something was after they finally go on their first date. Eden reaches out to take Killian's hand, and he looks down at it and he kind of pauses and he realizes that he's never really been a hand holder before, but that he likes holding her hand. And the way she describes it was very simple, but to me very meaningful. I love when my husband reaches out and grabs my hand. After 20 plus years of marriage, he still does that and it still makes my heart flutter, and I really like that. So when she talked about that part, it just hit me so hard and I just loved that part. When they're on their first date, they get through dinner, they have great conversation, they're very themselves with each other, and it gets to the point where they're going to order dessert. And one of the running themes in the book is that Killian takes care of himself. He's very buff. He works out every day. He eats very clean. He kind of makes fun of Ava that she eats junk food and, other people that they eat bad or whatever. And so it comes to ordering dessert. And of course, Eden's like, yes, we're ordering dessert. And Killian just kind of looks at her. Lo and behold, they order 2 desserts. And she feeds him the dessert, and he in return feeds her the dessert. And it was very sexy. Eden decides to take Killian home to meet her dad and her brothers for the weekend. So like I said, she's from Pennsylvania. Her dad is a cop. Her brother is a cop. And the reason why she's going home that weekend is because her other brother, Sawyer, who is active military, is coming home for a little while. Killian and Sawyer bond a lot over that trip. They have similar qualities about their personality. They've both had tragic situations involving their friends in their lives that forever changed them, and they bond over that. I thought it was very sweet. They celebrate Killian's birthday during that weekend, and he makes a point of talking about how nobody's ever really celebrated his birthday before, and she makes it so special. And it's funny because she even has her dad and her brothers all give him something, and they're all re-gifted gifts that she had gave them previously. A shirt that she had given her brother, some kind of a tool that she had given her dad for Christmas or something. It was really funny. And they all called it, she was like, wait, didn't I give that to you? And he was like, yeah, but I have too many shirts and I won't wear them anyway. It was really cute. She even makes him a cake. His wish when he blows out the candle is that his every new day has her in it, and that it's huge progress for him, that he wants to be in a world that she's in. And that's when he finally decides, okay, I am in this, I can do this. With her, I can do it. There's a very scary situation that happens that involves Connor and Eden and Connor's life catching up with him, essentially. Jack, Eden's dad, comes to help take care of her after the situation is all done because she needs some comfort and she needs some physical help. And so Jack comes, he rushes to be by his daughter's side. And in that time, he has a real heart-to-heart with Killian and tells Killian that he needs to move on and let her go, that he needs to get his life together, and he can't be around Eden when he's doing that. The sad part is that Killian totally understands where Jack is coming from. And Killian and Jack are very much the same. They just want to protect her and take care of her. At one point, Killian says that Jack is appealing to the caretaker in him. He had him pegged immediately. He knows Killian. He knows he loves his daughter. He recognizes that he's a really good guy. But he wants him to leave her because bringing all of the bad stuff that he sees that Killian has brought into her life, set aside from the love that he has for her, there's been bad stuff that's happened since they've known each other. So he says he's appealing to the caretaker in him, not to the boyfriend who's literally having his heart ripped out knowing that he should probably leave her. It was so sad. Because you know Killian wants to do the right thing by her. He always puts Eden first. I was so torn reading this, but I loved Killian even more through this struggle. Killian's relationship with Connor, his brother, is a big part of the book as well, and the choices that Connor has made in his life. He's a drug addict. At the time that the book starts, he's recovering drug addict. He's not using at the time. And I really felt like Emery Rose did a wonderful job portraying how hard that is to have a family member that's an addict, how the trust is broken, how it affects everyone around them. Especially in this situation with Killian, he always tried to take the brunt of the abuse with their dad, and he always tried to protect Connor, and he took Connor out of the house when he was old enough to be able to provide for Connor, and even with all those choices, Connor still got into drugs. That's very hard on Killian. He feels very guilty about it. Killian blames Connor for the situation that involved this very serious and sad situation, thus bringing Jack, to come take care of Eden. So he blames Connor for all the turmoil that's going on in their lives. And yet he still can't completely shut him out. He still wants to be able to take care of him. But he decides for himself, he needs to fish or cut bait with his brother. And he tells his brother, basically, I love you. I can't be around you anymore. You got to figure yourself out. I can't do it for you anymore. You have to do it for yourself. I loved how Eden and Killian never gave up on each other. From the moment they met until all the way through the epilogue, they're honest with each other and they never give up on each other. When one is down, the other one picks each other up. I loved their story. Even though he was this big, brawny MMA fighter, he had this part of him that when it came to her and the people that he loved in his life, he would never give up on them. I like how she went toe-to-toe with him. Even though he was this big, burly guy, she went toe-to-toe with him every single time. As with all the books I read, I do like there to be a happily ever after, and there is in this book. I liked Emery Rose bringing in the different parts of their careers and their lives. So her, Eden, being a painter, and after she meets him the first time, or one of the first times, she goes home and paints because she's inspired, and she paints this abstract painting that has all these dark colors and blues and blacks and grays, and then she puts a pop of yellow in there, and she says that that's, why did she do that? Why was she drawn to do that? And then later on, he sees that painting and he's very moved by it. And his interpretation of that painting is that that's their relationship, and that yellow is her, and that's the sunshine. And he calls her sunshine, which I really like that, how Emery Rose put those two things together. So I definitely highly recommend this book. I am actually reading the second book in the series right now, which has Connor and Ava's story. I will absolutely be doing a video about that one as well. Let me know if you've read Beneath Your Beautiful in the comments below. And thanks for watching my video. I really appreciate it. I made notes so I wouldn't forget anything because I felt like I missed things in previous videos, and I wanted to make sure I did everything and gave this book everything it deserved. Thanks for watching. See you later.